Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to a new video. So I have been kind of out of the garage for the past few days. It's been absolutely dumping rain here in New Jersey. We've been getting the storm that has been passing through on the east. It's been so crappy out that it has been sitting here for a little over almost 2 weeks now. I cleaned it about a week ago and it's been sitting under the car cover ever since. It's supposed to clear up this week, so hopefully we get some time to be able to drive it and enjoy the car, but it has been spick and span sitting in the garage like this with the car cover on it for the past week and a half. Actually, this past weekend I was actually dealing with a pretty large downed tree in our backyard from the storm. It was about a 30 to 40 foot pine tree, massive tree. Thankfully nobody got hurt or anything, or nothing catastrophic. It did damage our swing set in the back, but it's pretty simple fix. But I actually did get to play with the chainsaw all day, so I got to chop up that tree. I did it myself. It was a lot of work, but I was able to get it done. Still got a little bit more work to do in terms of chopping up the larger pieces. I'm a big fan of the solo stove. I got one myself, so I'm always looking for wood to use with that. So now I have plenty of pine wood to be able to burn once that dries out and I finish cutting everything up. So I'm going to be busy doing that for the next couple weekends, couple days, getting that knocked out. So I've actually been waiting on one tool to come in so we can start the suspension install finally, the KWV3s as well as the TE37s over here that are ready to roll. Can't wait to get this stuff on, but I'm actually waiting on a spring compressor. I got these special little tools that I need over there in order to get the job done, but I figured I would order a spring compressor to make sure that I'm doing it safely and obviously showing you guys the correct way to do it. So that should be in actually tomorrow. So once that comes in, we're going to be starting on the suspension install. Finally, I cannot wait to get this thing lowered. I said that a million times. It's one of those jobs that not only have I been anticipating, but I've also been dreading at the same time because I'm trying to schedule out enough time to be able to get it done myself in the garage. It's going to take quite a few hours, and I'm probably going to do it over the course of a day or two. I'm not going to try and knock it out at once. Obviously, I'm going to be filming a video on it, so it's going to take a little bit longer than normal, just because I want to make sure I'm very detailed in the whole install. But there's one thing that did come in that I want to get knocked out in this video. It's pretty minor, but you guys know I'm a very big titanium hardware fan. We did a bunch of Downstar hardware in the engine bay. I'll pop the hood in a second just so I can show you. But there's a few other kits that Downstar was offering, so I figured I'd pick them up and kind of complete the whole Downstar kit. So here is the engine bay. Here is all the hardware that I did all up front, pretty much everywhere, a couple different places. There's actually hardware underneath the plastic little pieces there. On the intake and everything, I did the full Downstar titanium full burnt kit for the engine bay. But like I said, they offer a few other kits for the F80 M3. So I decided to pick them up, and those two kits are right here. One of which is actually a door hinge kit. So if we open up the door, we can see over here, there's some screws right here on the door hinge that we actually are going to be replacing. If you guys remember when I did the engine bay, I actually had a few pieces of hardware left over. So what I ended up doing was putting them on the rear doors. So if you can see them right there, beautiful. I did them on the other side as well, but I had to order a second kit for the front. So we're gonna go ahead and install them up there. Pretty simple, literally just unscrew them and pop these in. I believe those are a T30. I'll show you exactly how to do it, what size and everything when we get to it. But I also have a second kit here. This is actually the trunk liner kit. So we got the trunk popped open, and if we come around to the back, we'll see some small screws in the liner on the bottom, pretty much all around it. And we're gonna be replacing them with titanium to kind of complete the look. Now, obviously this is something that only I'm gonna notice and see, but to be honest, I did it on my STI, actually on the hinges. These are covered up, but on the STI, the hinge bolts were able to be seen. So I replaced those. I did a lot of that stuff on the STI, places that you wouldn't even think of, places that you don't even see, but it makes me happy. And I thought it was cool that Downstar supplied that kit. So we're gonna do that as well. Now, these are just kind of little push clips. So the titanium hardware that comes from Downstar is a little bit different because you actually get these little plastic or rubber riv nuts. So you're gonna pop these in the hole and basically just screw it down. Let's go ahead and do the doors real quick. We'll get those knocked out and we'll move over to the trunk. All right, so we are on the passenger side door. The size is a T30. So we're gonna go ahead and do one at a time. So I'm gonna do the top one first, put the Downstar hardware in, then we'll go ahead and do the bottom one. I don't wanna take both out and risk anything falling or getting out of place. So let's go ahead and remove the top one first. Now the Downstar hardware is a 5mm. All right, so all we're gonna do is take one of the little finishers, take the screw, slide it through like that, and then put it in the door. Okay, so that's finished. Pretty easy to do. Gives it a nice little touch when you open the door, a little detail. And if you guys are curious, yes, it clears, no problem. Gonna be kind of hard to show you, but you can see the hardware there. And again, hard to show you, but it clears, no problem. I was a little kind of nervous about that at first. I thought I was gonna scratch it, but no problem at all. There's plenty of clearance. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing on the driver's side, off camera, because it's the same exact thing. Then we can go ahead and move on to the trunk. Finish over the driver's side, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the trunk. Now there are 8 different bolts that we need to replace. I thought we were gonna replace these middle ones, but apparently not. I may have some extra hardware to use to replace those, we will see. I'm gonna take a look. But let's go ahead and remove these. These are a simple small Phillips head. Remove it and basically just pop the little insert in, and then you can put the downstar in. So that is the hole that we're going to be dealing with. I took off the liner so I have a little bit more access, but you actually need to drill out the hole a little bit bigger. So you use a 3/16 inch drill bit or a 9mm. I had a 3/16. So as you can see, that's the stock sizing. And that is the sizing you're going to need for the little insert. So we're going to go ahead and slip the little rubber insert in there. Then when you tighten it down, it squeezes and it holds in place. So I'm going to go ahead and drill all of these out. Again, I'm using a 3/16 inch drill bit to get this done. Doesn't take much. I recommend putting down a microfiber or some type of towel there so you don't get metal shavings everywhere. But if you don't want to drill out the holes, then I completely understand, but I figured obviously I would mention that because you know, it's not just a simple plug and play. So I'm gonna go ahead, drill the rest of them out, and then we can go ahead and install all the hardware. All right, so I got all the holes drilled out. I got all the inserts in, so you can see them on the bottom here, one there, one on the other side. I got them all on the top here, and then I also have them behind the little handle right there. So you drill everything out to 3/16 as I mentioned, and they pop right in and they hold no problem. So I'm gonna go ahead, put the liner back, put all the new hardware in. Then I actually believe I have some titanium hardware from another company that I used to use for those right there. So I'm gonna go do some digging, see what I can find, and hopefully I'll be able to come up with something for there as well. But let me go ahead, put the liner back, put the new hardware in, and see how it looks. The downstar hardware is a 4mm. All right, so I actually found some titanium hardware for the center right here. Actually, I already have one in because I was test fitting it, but this is what it looks like, beautiful, and the perfect fit. So let me go ahead, put that in, finish it off. All right, guys, so we can wrap up this install. Really simple, very, very straightforward. Something I do recommend is putting some type of towel or something on the glass because you don't want any of the bolts falling on there and potentially cracking it. So I definitely recommend putting something down to protect the glass. Obviously the metal shavings, you want to be careful as well. Put a towel down that you don't care about because most likely you're going to end up throwing it away because those little metal shavings are very, very sharp and they get stuck in the microfibers or the towel that you're using. And you obviously don't want to use that on your paint when you're done with it. So something that you can toss and throw away when you're done. Maybe some paper towels or something if you don't have a microfiber. But I absolutely love how this turned out. It is such a minor detail, but just knowing that it's done, and obviously it looks way nicer than the little stock push pins, really, really excites me. Now kind of everything flows nicely. I got the whole entire downstar kit, so it makes me feel better and I can sleep better at night. Yes, I understand that it is not for everybody because you have to drill out the holes and obviously you're not able to use the little OEM push pins in the future if you ever wanted to go back or you wanted to take these out. Obviously, some nice titanium hardware is much nicer than some black plastic. You can choose whatever color you want. You can actually choose black. You can do a different color scheme if you want. They have a lot of different options. I went for the full titanium version, and I went for the full burnt look simply because that's exactly what I chose for the engine bay, as well as the door hinges over here. So everything ties in really, really nicely. And I'm happy I was able to find some hardware for here as well. Kind of weird that they don't include that in the kit since that's right there. It's kind of front and center. It'd be nice if they included little bolts for that area as well. But either way, very happy. Huge shout out to Downstar once again for supplying the kit. All right, guys, so that is going to wrap up the install of the Downstar hardware kit for the trunk, as well as the door hinges here. So we got everything kind of tying in all nicely with the same exact hardware all around the car. Some nice full burnt, full titanium everywhere where I can put it. I don't like putting titanium on the outside of the car. I like things that are nice and hidden inside, that when you open a hood or a door or whatever, you're like, wow, it's pretty cool, little details and everything, and it kind of makes it much nicer. Obviously, stock hardware is not the prettiest thing. It's usually dirty or, not really that nice to look at. So doing some nice titanium hardware in any color, it's just always something I love doing. All right, guys, so this is going to wrap up this rainy night install. Super simple, but very, very rewarding. Again, huge shout out to Downstar for supplying the hardware. I will leave a link below for the exact ones that I got so you guys can pick that up if you are interested. But I gotta say, every single thing that I've been doing to this car, whether it's small like the hardware or doing something big like the exhaust, or what we're gonna be doing soon, which is the new wheels and tires and suspension, it just gets better and better every single time. Especially not driving this car for a couple weeks, it really makes me realize how amazing this car is, and super thankful and grateful that I have this sitting in my garage. It's pretty crazy. I've had the car cover on it for the whole entire week to 2 weeks, and I haven't really seen it. So taking the car cover off and seeing it clean, it was just one of those moments. I was like, man, this thing is amazing. So, all right, I'm rambling. I tend to do that, but I'm going to wrap it up here. If you guys have any questions at all about the Downstar hardware or anything else on the M3, please leave it in the comments below. But in the meantime, keep it clean, keep it simple. I'll catch you guys in the next one.